Oh, hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Brian House here for Housework, and today we are continuing on with the 2x72 grinder build. As you saw in the last video, I got these hinges for the 90-degree axis turn pretty much done. You know, the C channel's not cut out of them, but I think we're going to get around that by just drilling a hole through and tapping into one of the stanchions. Also, you may notice I did get the hardware from McMaster Car. A big shout out to McMaster Car, by the way. Ordered this stuff, I think, on Wednesday, and right now it's Friday. So these came through the mail in like 2 days. Wasn't a whole lot of money to expedite it to get it in here. In fact, they didn't charge me anything extra to ship this stuff in. So the axle pieces have come in. Oh, and one other thing. I don't know if you know this, but on the McMaster Car website, if you dig down into the pieces of hardware, they have step files in there that you can convert and pump into SketchUp, which will allow you to get a 3D rendering of whatever it is that you're actually buying, so you can kind of play with it. That actually saved my butt a little bit because I initially thought I could get away with a 9-inch version of this, but it quickly became apparent that I would not be able to get away with 9 inches. I needed the other ½ inch for the locking nut. And then also I had a clearance issue, so when this went through the stanchions and the hinges, the nut was going to bump into the motor. So I knew that I needed to give myself a little bit more clearance on one end, or turn this bolt all the way around and run it through that way, which sort of is restrictive because in order to take this thing apart, you need to remove the motor first, which I think you would have to do anyway. So either way, it worked out. Thank you, McMaster Car, for sending these out rather quickly. Also, the threaded rod that you saw in the last video, this really is just using that fabrication technique where to get everything lined up, we'll use threaded rod and slide everything together and weld it back together at that point. So yay for hardware day. The goals for today are to cut out the base plate, drill the holes in each corner so we can mount it to a work surface, and cut all the tube for the frame itself, the 2 receiver frame pieces and the stanchion pieces. I'm thinking if we can get that far, I can actually get some tack welds into this thing so we can see the movement of the hinge. I'm a little bit anxious about that, to see how that would actually work. The next step after that would be to cut the plate for the motor plate. And I think I have a plan in my head that I'm actually going to be able to do that with a cutoff wheel. So if I can do it, that means you can do it, which if you don't have a plasma cutter or any sort of sophisticated laser cutting machine, you wouldn't be able to manufacture these parts on your own. So I'm trying to kind of prove that it can be done. Is it optimal? No, but can it be done? Yes, I think so. Anyhow, long story short is today we're going to be cutting some steel and hopefully putting some things together just to kind of see how they work. All right, let's get started. Yeah, this is going to be a failure. It's functional, I would think, but it is ugly, and it's not going to cut my quality standard. So I'm going to remake this, and I went ahead and ordered a rotary table on Amazon. They were pretty inexpensive, less than $100 for a cheap one. But yeah, it's just really impossible, I think, for me with my setup. Someone in the comments had mentioned, you know, set up a jig and turn it on the table basically and router it out with the mill. And that worked for a little while, but then it started to slide, and I couldn't really fully keep it in position even after I locked down everything. So it really just really didn't go the way I thought it would. And you know, that's part of the learning process. It's okay. And now I'll have a rotary table, which will open up a whole other slew of things I can do with this mill. All right, so this is where we are today. I don't have anything tacked together yet because I still got to put that C channel in there. And like I said earlier, I ordered the rotary table for the mill so that I can actually mill out those C channels. Less than $100 on Amazon. I think it's totally worth doing and doing it right. Granted, in 4 or 5 months, I'll have the CNC plasma cutter, and that will render that rotary table sort of useless for this anyway. I probably use it for other projects, which, yeah, it'll be fun to learn how to use that thing. So Dave over at Evader Knives actually was the one that gave me that suggestion. And Jeff, I tried your method of using a locking T-nut and trying to lock it down to the table, and I just couldn't get it to function right, and then it slipped and took a chunk out of it. And anyway, long story short is I've always wanted a rotary table for my mill, and now I'm going to get one, so it just makes sense to do it that way. As you can see, everything looks like it's got pretty good clearance. I ground out that little corner piece of the stanchions, and this is just clamped together right now so it won't stand up on its own in the vertical position. But it's got all good clearances. Everything looks pretty straight. I'm really happy with it. I'm just taking my time with this thing because I don't want to have to deal with going back and recreating anything. I've already had to do that now with one of the hinges, and that's just kind of a headache. But I'm just taking my time. I'm not rushing. I'm filming it all while I'm doing it, but I'm just kind of going easy, measuring 9 times, cutting once kind of thing, and it's going pretty smooth. So once I get the rotary table in and we carve out that C channel, then I can tack this all together. I mean, I'm getting super excited to see this thing all together. I've got all the other parts. I got the drive wheel and the tracking wheel. I got the motor, I got the VFD, so now it's just a matter of time, the rotary table, and a little bit more work to cut the plate out. Also, on Amazon, I haven't actually opened this yet, but I found a 4.5-inch hole saw that will supposedly cut through 3/8-inch steel plate. And 4.5 inches is the exact diameter of the hole that I need for the motor mount. For 35 bucks, I figured, you know what, that's probably worth doing. Again, we'll have a plasma cutter in a few months and it won't matter, but for 35 bucks, I can prototype this thing and actually make it look pretty decent. So if you got something out of today's video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Also, if you're on Instagram, you can go over there and catch behind the scenes stuff. I usually post some videos a few days in advance from these videos that you're watching. I just post little pictures and clips and stuff over on Instagram, so you can find me there. My username is down below, and you can click right through and join me there on Instagram. That is my preferred social media as of right now. Also, there are links down in the description for everything you see in my workshop here. I've got it broken down in my Amazon store. You can go in there and find all the safety equipment, everything down to even my apron. That is a free way to support my channel. If you click through and you buy something through there, I get a small commission from Amazon, and it doesn't cost you a dime. Now, if you want to take your support another step further, I do have a Patreon page. You can support my work here in my workshop for as little as $1 a month. That's just 12 bucks a year. So I do appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. As always, if you write me a comment, I do read and respond to all of them. It has been my pleasure to put all this stuff together. It's really a fun thing for me to do this on YouTube. It gives me purpose, and it gives me drive to just continue creating and making new things. So anyhow, guys, have a great day. Until next time, I'm Brian House, and this has been Housework.